the drop shot. I'm sure you've heard of it. In today's video, I will be explaining how to rig it up and how to fish it in rivers like this. Some questions you may have is, when does the drop shot shine the most? And where should I be fishing it in the water column? Please ignore the background noises. There's a bridge right there. The concept of the drop shot is a super finessey technique to catching these lethargic, cold winter bass. Typically, you throw this rig on a spinning setup. Very rarely will you use casting. Now here's the basic structure of the rig. You got your main line right here. Then it comes down to a preferably fluorocarbon leader. You got your hook and your little bait. And lastly, you got your weight. Now, you're gonna have 3 items of utmost importance. First of all, we got the weights. These are specially made to be cylinder-like, so you can pull them right out of structure and not worry about any snags. Next up, we got the hooks. It is very important that you get circle hooks. And lastly, we got our fluorocarbon line. This will allow your rig to look almost invisible and give the bait a realistic floating presentation in the water column. Now, apologies, I do not have a tripod today, so I will be doing all the rigging from the GoPro. Hopefully it gives you a good perspective of what I'm doing. Now right here, I have a spinning setup with 15-pound braided line. With the fluorocarbon, it would be best if you go around 10 to 12 pound. But for today, we have 15 pound and we'll just make that work. Now remember, the reason we use fluorocarbon is because it sinks and is practically invisible underwater. When fishing the drop shot, you want your rig to be almost vertical, which is why this is the best line to be using. First step, go ahead and grab yourself a generous 2 feet of this line. Snip it off. Now it's time to attach the braided line to the fluorocarbon. Because fluorocarbon has a stronger structure than braided line, you want to take it and form a loop, just like that. Just hold it. Next step reminds me of a Christmas tree. Point the loop towards the sky, insert the braided line into the loop, and then go ahead and wrap it on the bottom like a Christmas tree. Go ahead and do this 6 times. Once you have it like that, what you want to do is just insert the braided line back into the loop, wet the line, and cinch it down. Pull it tight, make sure the loop is strong, cut off the tag ends, cut them as close as possible to provide the smoothest casting. And just like that, you have successfully connected braid to fluorocarbon. Now that you have successfully connected your braid to your fluorocarbon, you're gonna wanna go ahead, take one of your circle hooks and put it through the fluorocarbon exactly like this. The hook is facing upward. I like to slide mine about halfway. So far, this is what it looks like. You have 1 foot of fluorocarbon, and then it hits the hook, and then you got another foot of fluorocarbon at the bottom of the hook. To attach the hook on to the fluorocarbon without it sliding, what you want to do, very simple knot as well. You want to go ahead and just form another loop just like that. Super easy, just bend it, and that's a loop. You want to take your hook, put it in, just like that. Now you're going to want to do this 4 times. So 2, that's 3, and that's 4. Now it should look something like this. What do you do next? Wet the line, of course, and just go ahead, pull it tight, just like that. Now your hook is sitting up horizontally and will hold your bait very nicely. The last step is the easiest, and why I recommend you buy drop shot weights is because of this one simple feature. These weights, you do not have to tie it down. All you gotta do is insert the line, pull it up from both ends, and just like that, the line is caught on the weight. Because it gets narrower right here and it's not coming out. If in the case you do get snagged, the first thing that will come out will be the weight, and then you'll save the rest of your rig. Last step, go ahead and get any drop shot bait. Right here, I have the 10,000 fish shimmer shad. What I like a lot is the foil at the bottom of the belly. It all depends on what you like to fish. It's all just preference, once again. I like to take my hook, insert it into my bait, and have the point of the hook come out right at the nose. Just like that, our drop shot is all ready. This is the rig right here. Got the braided line, runs down to the fluoro, and there's our shimmer shad with the hook. And then it keeps going, and there's the drop shot weight. Now, when you're fishing the drop shot, it is very simple. You cast it out there. Now that the weight has reached the very bottom, I reel in all the slack and I keep my rod tip at a high angle. Now pay attention closely. The drop shot shines year round, but the way you work it in differs. During the springtime and summer, you can give it little hops, let it drop back down, and then reel it back in. However, when it comes to late fall and winter, you really want to give it as little action as possible. Yes, you heard me right. As little action as possible. You just want to let it drift in the current. So I'm gonna go ahead, cast that out, let it sink a little bit. It's in the current right now. Once it's on the bottom, once again, just reel in your slack. And then from here, instead of giving it little bounces, I just want to drag it on the bottom and pause a little bit. When you get a bite, you'll most likely feel it first from your line, and you just feel the little tick tick. And the bite usually comes when you're not moving it at all. So what you want to do is just give it a nice hook set and the fish is on. Now that we've gone over how to rig and fish a drop shot, let's talk about what's the reason behind it. What makes it better than the Ned rig or the jig? The drop shot is very good to fish in rocky areas such as this river behind me. The bottom is full of rocks. There's very little sandbars, where typically a Ned rig will cover the job just fine. With these rocks, you'll get snagged a bunch, but with the drop shot, it'll just come right over and drag straight out. During the winter time, fish go deep, right? That is why you want to fish the drop shot as deep as possible, giving you access to these fish who do not want to bite anything in the upper water column. They went ahead and ate as much as they could early fall. Now they're starting to conserve as much energy as possible, which is why they just hang low. And that is why the drop shot is one of the baits you should be getting under your belt this winter. I hope this video was helpful. Please leave in the comments any suggestions of anything you want to see in the future or anything I can improve on. Happy holidays to you and your family. Be thankful for what you have. Get out there, stay safe, and fish for the adventure.